Hey guys, so today I'll be talking about how to do t-tests on Excel. I'll start with the one sample t-test. So as you remember, you have 15 different hospitals and they reported a number of cases. And then you compared whether or not this mean differs from the one of the population in a month earlier that was reported. As you remember in the problem, it said that the mean of the population was 15. So I just put here 15 and 15, which I then can just select and find the mean of those two numbers, which will be 15. And you'll see what I mean as I go on. So I'll just be putting the formula, so how to do everything. And if you need to, you can follow along if you need to do that kind of calculations later. This is the output that I will use to calculate the p-value for this t-test. However, if in your research you decide to use a different alpha, that's okay. That's just for your personal information. And then I will also put the number of tails I decided to use, and I decided to use one tail. So the difference between one tail and two tails when you expect that there could be a positive or negative result, and one tail if only you expect one side of the bill curve to show. So in this case, I expect that there's an increased number of cases compared to the one in February. So I'm choosing only one tail of the bell curve. But again, you can choose two tails if you decide to do so. Okay, never mind that. I was trying to put in the formula, but basically degrees of freedom is going to be uh, how many cases you have. So in this case, it's 15. So it's going to be n minus 1. So you have 15 minus 1. It's going to be 14. With this t-statistics, you can then find a table, which is a t-table for one sample t-test in this case. And you can basically find what the p-value is based on this t-statistic, but I'm not going to do that. So we're just going to calculate the p-value from that number. Okay, so that's our one sample t-test. And I can also show you how to do a bar graph. So to do that, you would have to find the mean of your sample. So this is going to be your bar graph, and then you can modify it the way you want. So this is how I modified mine, where I put like number of cases to your left, and then the group on the bottom. And yeah, this is your one sample t-test. So now I'll move on to a independent samples t-test. So this one is going to be much easier because Excel actually has a function to do it in the data analysis tab. So what you're going to do is you're going to find the mean the same way we did, where you take the average of your two different groups. In this case, it's comparing Florida cases to California. Then you're going to find a standard deviation, and you're going to use the plural one in this case. So you have your two groups. And then what you're going to do is do the following steps. So now you're going to select your two variables. So the first one, you have your California variable. Second, you're going to have your, first one, you're going to have your Florida, second, California, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. Make sure if you are selecting label in the first row, just click labels over here. Otherwise, it's going to think it's a value as well. And I like to put it in the same sheet, unless you want to have a different sheet with your output. You can do that. You can just leave this selected. I like to put an output range, and I just select where I want it to be. So in this case over here, and then you click OK, and you have your data. So over here you see your p-value is 0.7, which is very big for two-tailed, or 0.3 for one-tailed. Regardless, it's not statistically significant. And then again, in order for you to do your bar graph, you're going to select, you can also rewrite it and just move the mean top, but I just usually select it like that, and I'm pressing Control to only select this row and nothing in between. And then insert bar graph, and you have your bar graph. And to do your custom error bars, you go over here and you select more options. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. Okay, that was weird. Anyways. Okay, here you go. So you go into the options, error bars, custom, you click custom, and then you specify value. And for specify value, positive and negative error value, you just put your standard deviation that you calculated and make sure it's correct. Okay, and delete that and put that as well. Click OK. As you can see, the error bars are overlapping. And again, I usually modify it a little bit where there's like no legend with mean and the chart title isn't on the bottom. And here's an example of how I did my graph. Okay, so lastly, I'll move on to the dependent samples t-test. That one is also pretty simple, just like the other one, where you calculate your mean using the formulas, as you can see over here on the top, and then standard deviation, and then you go to your data analysis, and then you're going to select t-test pair to sample for means here, because it's dependent sample t-test, same thing as pair t-test. Click OK. And then again, same thing. Select your first variable range, second variable range. Make sure to click labels if you're including them. Again, I like to put my output here. And also, if you do change your alpha to a different number, make sure to select it right here. Okay, so this is going to be our p-value right here for two-tailed. One-tailed is right here. And then again, to do your graph, select it, control, insert bar graph, then plus error bars, more options. More options. Oh, why is it doing that? And then custom, specify value, same thing, standard deviation, you just select it twice for negative and positive value. Click OK. Then again, you don't see an overlap in error bars, so you know that it's going to be statistically significant. And again, here's the graph that I did where I actually modified it the way I like it to look. And I believe that's it. I'll also record how to do all of the ANOVAs, which I'll talk about on Friday. But I hope this is useful. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Bye.